Welcome to the Tactics Talk for Ipswich at home. Sam, it is Vardy's last game. Obviously, he's just been announced that he won't be playing against Bournemouth.
Yeah.
Ricardo Pereira has been announced that he's in contention for Sunday's game. What's your take on this one? Because again, it's been moved to a Sunday. We are questioning why, but it's two relegated teams in a way, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess fighting for a little bit of pride. I guess the third bottom spot means a little bit of something, gives you a little bit of extra money. Fine lines between good and bad. We've already been relegated, same with Ipswich, same with Southampton. But if you want to find a silver lining with it, then if we can finish that bottom, it's a little bit more money, I guess, isn't it, into the key?
Yeah, I guess, yeah. Do you know what? I was thinking about this. Shall we start from the top because we know who is starting at the top on Sunday?
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's just put Vardy in there because we both know that he will be in there for the 500th game for Leicester City. Can he get his 200th goal? I don't know, but if it isn't, then it's not going to happen.
It's not guaranteed, is it? It's never guaranteed that he's going
to. I think you've probably got one of the easiest teams to try and get your goal, but I don't know.
Depends on which.
It's never guaranteed.
Wants to turn up, depends if they want to let him score, but obviously they won't want to. A bit strange, I guess, that he's not going to play the Bournemouth game as well, especially if he doesn't get his 200th goal. But I guess they're trying to end it on some kind of OCD niceness, 500th appearance and 200th goal, which I guess makes it seem nice. It sounds nice, doesn't it? Especially for the career he's had. Good place to end it, I guess. We can only see, it's not guaranteed.
No, we'll go into the midfield then, the attacking side of things. We did see, I think, Katie McAteer and AU start against Forest. We then obviously saw Monga come on, and we saw, I think, Jake Evans came on as well. But who are you pointing in this attacking lineup? Because again, I'd have my opinion on the middle spot being totally taken by El Canoes, but Bonanotte came on against Forest as well, scored his goal, showed that a lone player can have a bit of fight in a team that's relegated. But what's your take?
I think we've got to set up, I guess, for the players that are going to stay, or the players that the club thinks are going to stay. It's hard to judge who they want to keep and who they want to sell, including Rude, if he's going to be around. Because, again, if it's a new manager, then playing players is almost pointless because, a different manager next season might assess and see different things. But for me, I would probably play the players that are going to be here next year. Just give them a little bit of time to, work together almost. Again, it's going to be hard because I'm sure we're going to have a massive reshape of the team as we need to. We definitely need to start selling some of those players. So I guess it doesn't really matter who we play, really, to be honest with you. We'll come up with a team together, but we'll see.
I think out of all the players that could go, I think that someone like El Canoes is on a brink of either going or could be very good for us next year if he does stay. I think you've said as well that he's not done enough this year to probably warrant to move to a higher club.
I think, I don't think he's done enough, full stop. I don't think he's done enough for us. I think he looks okay on the ball. His defending is rubbish. His finishing is rubbish as well. Obviously, I think he's had some decent chances to set up goals. Obviously, they've not been converted by the striker. So not too much blame on him there, but he's no Maddison. He doesn't know how to find the net himself, which is an issue for an attacking mid, because if your striker's not scoring, then you need your attacking mid to score. So, I mean, it sounds like we put a price tag of 22 million, which is 2 million more than what we paid for him, which is, I assume, to cover his yearly wages. So for me, I'm not opposed to selling him. I don't think he's that good. I think if someone like Arsenal or Chelsea or Villa think he's worth that price tag, then I'd sell him, because I genuinely don't see. I think he's got potential, but I don't see that much hype about him. I think he could be okay in the Championship, but I'm not opposed to making your money back on him, because for me personally, I don't think he's really fitted in that well, and I don't think he's done enough. I think someone like Schmodik's at half the price, even though he's older, has done a better job for Ipswich.
Andreas, I don't think agrees with you saying you're talking rubbish.
That's just my opinion. His stats are literally 1 goal, 2 assists in the whole season.
I think performance basis, you'd probably say he's probably one of our better players.
I think he looks skillful enough. I don't think he's that convertible. I don't think he.
I think he'd be very good for us in the Championship.
I think he could be again, but like I said, if someone wants to put their hands in the pockets and give the money we paid for him, I wouldn't be opposed to taking it.
No, fair enough.
Personally,
we're moving to the team then. Are you picking El Canuto in that central spot because he could be here next season?
You can play him. Not an issue again. Buonanotte, I think like I say, he's a low player. He's not gonna stick around, obviously. So yeah, I'm happy with El Canuto.
Yeah, left wing. Again, Mavadidi, I think he's out for the rest of the season. AU has been playing there. I think McAteer has been playing there. But are you maybe fitting any youngsters coming into this attacking lineup?
I don't think we really have any youngsters that can fill the left wing role. I think
No.
Mavadidi's again. He's definitely not going to be sold because I don't think anyone may, unless you're one of the teams that get promoted are looking for a winger. I don't think he's going to go personally. So Mavadidi for me is fine. I think he's probably the one for next season to stay. So yeah, again, I'd play him.
What, Mavadidi?
Yeah, I'd play
him. He is out injured.
Okay, then it's not Mavadidi. I don't know. Then it's probably Bobby Reed or IU, I guess. I don't know who
I think Bobby Reed is out as well. So I think AU is the only one you can play. Yeah. And then on the right hand side, are we guessing we want to see Mongo, or is it going to be a McAteer show again? Because he has said over this press conference just gone now, he has said he's actually going to be using a lot more youngsters.
I think Mongo's probably the better shout because Ipswich they're going to be more our level of team next year. So if Mongo is one to be fitting into that squad next year,
you want to see how good he is.
See what he can do against Ipswich because they're probably the second best team, if not the best team in the Championship next year. Alongside,
let's see if he's got his name in here yet. No, he's not. We'll play with this guy.
I can imagine trying out the youngsters. I mean, it's a lot to put on someone who's 15. He's not. Again, he's only 15, so he's got a lot to. He's quite young still. He's got a lot to do before. I mean, you talk about Yamal. I think that's how
Yamal,
yeah. However you say his name for Barcelona, 17 doing it. So if he's good enough, he's old enough. We'll see what he can do these next few games. Obviously, he's had very limited minutes, but we can see what he can do, I guess. And you've got to start him, I guess, from the start tomorrow. Mm-hmm. It's just a shame it's a bit late, isn't it? Rude should have been doing this 15 games ago when we were struggling. It's not really the ideal game plan for when we're relegated already, especially you don't want any big injuries for next year.
No, I agree. Into the midfield then, I will mention the likes of Sumari did come on against Forest and did okay, better than what Skip did. And Didi, again, pretty average. I don't think we've got much choice in this midfield to really go who is there next season. Again, Winks, if Rude stays, probably isn't going to be the man in that attacking midfield, in that defensive role. Who do you pick for next season if you were picking a team for next season?
Again, for midfield, I think you just need to sell players. I think you probably need a refresh. I think every single one of them should probably go. I don't think there's really a contention for anyone to stay. I mean, unless you can make an argument for any of the players. But
I think the only one that probably could stay, and I don't think will, is Ndidi. Because he's been for so long, and I don't think he's to the level that most teams would want him anymore.
I think someone like Sheffield United, if they were to come up, or Leeds might take him as a decent bench player. For me, I think he's kind of past it now.
He is past it, but that's where it's like even Ricardo Pereira, someone like him, I don't think will go until he ends his contract.
Well,
because he's just not good enough.
Pereira's not good enough, though. Pereira's, as much as he had been good enough, he's way too injury prone. Same with Ndidi, to be fair, but for me, I would be looking at to sell Ndidi.
I won't say no if we sold him, but I'm just saying that all the top players we do have, I'd rather keep him over Skip.
I mean, Ndidi signed a new contract, and we've had rumours of Vestergaard that we can terminate his contract if we want to.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't surprise me if we put the same contract on Ndidi, as much as he's probably been a bit more of a, his longevity at the club. He's been there a lot longer, and he's had definitely longer times pre-injury, did he? So maybe that wasn't in his contract, but the club would be a bit silly to keep. I mean, he'd probably do okay in the Championship again. If he wants to do it, don't blame him. You bear in mind, he didn't want to stay with us last year. We were his last resort.
Who's this?
And did he? He was fishing around other clubs.
Yeah.
He only signed with us because no one else wanted him, which says a lot. We've probably offered him the same wages, so he probably might stay unless someone comes.
Do you think shall we put Ndidi in there for now? I think he's the only one out of the lot of them that I'd say he's a bank starter if he does stay.
I wouldn't say he's a bank starter, though.
I think he'd be out of all of them. Again, if Winks was fit, he would probably be the bank starter. But
no, I wouldn't even say that. Again, I think some of these players like Ndidi and Winks are a bit too mouthy, probably in the changing rooms.
But then, if you do sell all these, are you expecting to bring more players in?
Yeah, of course I am.
As in the fact of what if there's an embargo, or what if there's a reason why we can't buy these midfielders? Because I feel like I think one or two of them will stay. I think Skip will stay because no one's buying him for 20%.
I think Skip will stay, and that's probably why you do have to play him. But you probably got to look at players like Chowdhury as well. Come back on loan from Sheffield United. Does he go into the team? For me, yes, he goes back into the team over Ndidi or Winks or any of those players because he actually wants to play for Leicester. At least he did before his 18th loan out again. I'm sure it's probably pissing him off to some extent. So I don't know. I think the midfield is a massive issue for us. I think it's no Drinkwater and Kante anymore, is it? It's a bunch of players that are injury prone and not very good. Winks had a decent Championship season. He's had a below average, if not poor, Premier League season. So I wouldn't mind getting him off the books, especially with the fact that he's falling out with players. And you got to give some kind of respect, I guess, to Rude for standing his ground for players like Winks and Bessiado who are living in London. And have to travel a lot, and he's saying, I need you guys to stay over at least a night a week. Does he do it? No, he doesn't, hence why he's been dropped. His commitment isn't to the club at the moment, it's probably just the wage packet. So, I don't know, really. I don't know.
As much as I don't want to put him in, I think if you're looking forward to the next season and playing against a team like Ipswich, you are going to be there next season. I think you might have to play Skip for now.
I think
my first choice would be Winks because he's shown it last season. He was good enough, but with Rude in charge, he won't be anywhere near the side. So for me, Skip.
And again, this is where you have to put into question: well, is Rude staying there?
No, because that's the thing we don't know.
Exactly.
We don't know anything.
We don't know if Rude's staying or not.
And he didn't get asked at all about his position on his last conference
because the Leicester media, they're a bunch of tiptoers. They don't want to ask any actual hard-hitting questions.
Yeah, we'll put Skip in.
Skip's probably a fair enough shout for next year. So again, we're both trying to build a team that you could play next year.
I think that's what the situation is now. Yeah. Again, you're going against a team who are in the Championship next year.
It's a good way to test who's
you've got to put other than a few players who we know that, for instance, the wingers probably will be changed next season if Mavidi is back fit, and Fatwa obviously will be back fit. I'd still put Fatwa over Monga in my opinion, but that's just because then you can bring Monga on as a.
Again, it's a good issue to have Fatu and Monga if they're both on fire, and even the contention of Ayew and Bobby Reid because they're probably going to be here. That they're all again next year. If you look at these players that we are probably going to keep, you look at the team and go that this team again should just walk the Championship more so than
even with for me, I'm not a big fan of Ayew, but even Ayew.
Well, he's good enough again. I know you're not a fan of Ayew, but he's probably been the more impactful player. If you have to, the team itself has not been that good. But if you look at impact players, Ayew's definitely been up there as one of them in this little time that he's obviously shown it. But I think he'd do it in the Championship okay. Same with Bobby Reid. They both probably be okay in the Championship here and there.
Yeah. So left back, I think there's a guaranteed spot at the moment for who's going to be sitting there next season.
There isn't. Well, for next season, I think Luke Thomas is obviously good left back. And fair play to him, he's took his chance. Looked to
wrong since he's been back in. Yeah.
My only concern is, do you play Thomas over Christensen? Because I assume we're going to want to try and sell Christensen. I think he's probably going to want to go as well.
I think someone like Christensen will just go somewhere like a Bologna again, or somewhere
potentially
somewhere that not
we
many
have
teams
to sell
need
him.
him.
If you ask me, because we're going to need to replace him. We're going to need someone to step up because you can't play Luke Thomas every game.
Yeah.
Especially if he gets injured, then who is going to be your next left back? Because we only have Thomas and Christensen at the moment. I know Pereira and Justin could probably step in, but
I think Koulibaly as well can play that role.
So maybe you've got contention for if we sell Christensen, we don't need a replacement. Like I say, if Justin Koulibaly can step into those spots, and Pereira, I mean, I'm sure he's going to stick around because he's 32 now. I don't think any teams much better than us are going to offer him a decent enough contract to make him go anywhere.
Yeah.
So Thomas, fine by me.
See, this is where the right back position for me, I would have changed and put someone like Ricardo into that skip role, but because of how injury prone Ricardo is, I don't think we should put him into a team that really, unless you wanted to put him in right back for now.
No.
It's hard because I'd love to see him in every game next season. But
again, it's convenient that he's back injured and back fit for Vardy's last game. It kind of just speaks that he's picking and choosing what he wants to play. Convenient we get relegated and he doesn't want to play. Oh, but now he's fit, even though he's meant to be out for the rest of the season, just because it's Vardy's last game. And I don't know. It doesn't. If it looks like a rat, smells like a rat, it's probably a rat. I think Pereira's mentality is a bit. If he doesn't want to play, he's going to say he's injured, just so he doesn't have to play. It wouldn't surprise me.
We won't put Ricardo in there.
No,
for me next season,
I think Justin goes into the team because if you ask me, if Justin doesn't get sold, then he's first team over Koulibaly almost every day of the week. You can maybe substitute him and see.
Yeah, I would probably say I prefer to see the likes of Koulibaly next season.
For me, if
Justin's there,
Justin had a storm of a season last year in the Championship. He's way too. I think he was way too good.
We'll put Justin in there because I do agree that he will be first choice if he's there.
Because he is probably too good for the Championship, but is he good enough for the Premier League again? If there was a league in between, it's probably where someone like Justin fits in perfectly. A bit like Leicester at the moment.
So centre backs then. This is obviously where I would be putting someone if we were looking to put a team out for next season, but we can't because he's not still eligible, and that is Ben Nelson. But the two defenders that you'd think are staying, or do you think will play?
The things that I would want to stay, I guess, if you had to put them into perspective, Okoli would be the first one. I'd say that.
I agree.
You're going to keep him. If you want to try and keep him, then he's got to play.
I agree.
Okay in the Championship, probably a fairly good player. And then, Ben Nelson, you put in contention. But if not, I guess the other centre-back that's probably going to stay and is good enough, should be good enough for Championship, is probably Cody.
I thought you were going to say Vestergaard then.
No, Vestergaard again. Hopefully his contract can get terminated. Not in a mean way, but he needs to go. He's the definition of deadwood for the club.
Okay, with Rude in charge again. If we're doing a team now that Rude would put out because he's still in charge, so Vestergaard would not be anywhere near.
I mean, the club's stupid to offer him a 3-year contract, but they might actually be somewhat smart if they did put a termination clause in his contract.
Well, that was, I think from what we've heard, I think that was an Enzo signing before he left.
Yeah, I believe that he was signed, obviously, with the intention of Enzo being at the club still. The club really should have looked at it and realised, why are we re-signing this player who in the Premier League is rubbish? And again, he showed that, not just him, obviously. But yeah, for me, it's Cody. I think if Ben Nelson was here, then could play, you'd put him in contention.
But Cody, Cody's played all right last few games.
I think Cody, because I think he's going to stay as much as, I don't know if he wants to go as much as, maybe he wants to go, I don't know. He doesn't.
I'm guessing you won't be playing Faze though, would you?
Faze, no, I don't want to. His time at Leicester, I don't want to see him again.
I'm just saying, he's played the last few games, and if we're building a team for next season,
it could be shop window.
Surely.
He's not staying. It could be shop window, but again, like I say, they wouldn't surprise me if your Christiansens, your Samaris, and that do play, because if you want to put them in a shop window, you need to kind of have a good end to the season. They need to play good form. It's not going to be easy to sell Christiansen, who's had a pretty shit season and then not played for the past couple months. So then it's like, okay, you're going to try and ship someone who's got relegated and also not played in 2 months and not good enough for our relegation team. Okay. Same with some of the other players. I mean, Fies, who has played every game virtually, still, in my eyes, pretty bad defender, at least attitude-wise. And also performance-wise, actually. Pretty bad in both aspects.
Yeah, just as the forward position was, the back position in goal is basically set in stone. for the rest of the season and maybe even next season.
Yeah, well, no, let's
Stolicic.
put Danny Ward and give him a send off like Vardy.
Oh yes, it's his last game for. It would be what it would
It's
near
his
be.
last season.
Yeah, it would be his last season. So
Well,
thank God for that.
You'd like to think it's his last season. It wouldn't surprise me.
Get ready a 3-year contract for Danny Ward.
Here to stay. Yeah, I mean, Stolicic, he looked fairly good past few games. Hermanson probably.
He's not lost a game since he's been in, has he?
Not in the last 3 games. He's played some others, I think, this season, obviously.
Well, yeah, but since he came in against Spurs and then got taken back out.
Spurs.
And then the rest of the games he
Forest,
played, he's drew.
And Southampton, yeah.
Usually he's won or drew, yeah.
1-2, drawn 1.
Shows
drawn 2. Brighton's a draw as well, so 1-2, drawn 2 in his time. Yeah, I think he looks like a fairly good keeper and more than good enough for the Championship, if you ask me. I think he could do it at Premier League level because I think he's showing
proved it. Yeah.
Hermanson, again, we signed him with this long-term injury he's had. Seems to keep rattling around him. I think if we can sell him for 15-20 million, then I would take it. A bit of profit on him.
Yeah.
And fair enough. He's not going to go to a big club. The only place we've heard Brentford want him. They're obviously quite big on signing the Danish players, aren't they? So. Could go there.
I think he's probably the main one that we'd look to sell on because again we know we've got someone back up who can be.
The issue with keepers is they don't sell for that much, so I wouldn't say the main one.
Even if he's 20, no, we've still made a profit on it.
You would have made somewhat of a profit. Again, there's probably his old club's probably put in yours 5% if you sell him on, and then his wages on top of that. So if you sell him for 20 million plus his wages plus whatever sell-on clause we have to give back to his other club,
probably made about 5 million.
So, it's not much, but it's more about getting him off the books, I think. And I thought he could be a fairly good player for us this year. He's probably thinking, and maybe rightly so, he's better than the Championship again. So, does he need to move on? Yeah, probably. I think if he sticks around, he's probably going to get less game time in the Championship just because of how good Stolicic has been in his replacement. I mean, me and you and a lot of fans were calling it while Hermanson was fit anyway before he was injured again, another convenience, that play Stolicic anyway, even though Hermanson was back fit, Stolicic looks like a better goalie.
Yeah.
And rightly so. Again, you play who's better at the moment. Which we hadn't done until he was injured again. So, no issue with Stolicic.
Yeah, 2 questions then. First of all, with the team we put out, and this is missing the likes of Fatawu, Mabadidi, Chowdhury, Ben Nelson, I'd say that's still good enough to probably near enough be a very good side in the Championship. And that's without all the players I've just mentioned. Do you agree?
Say again.
That team there, without the likes of Mabadidi, Fatawu, Chowdhury, Ben Nelson, I still think it's still good enough to do very well in the Championship.
It should be. Obviously without Vardy, because he'll be leaving.
Yes, of course.
Let's pull up some comments.
Richard said Cody been absolutely woeful.
I never said Vardy to Sheffield United, so don't
let the goal versus Forest cloud judgment. It doesn't. I've even said
about clouding judgment.
I think Cody's been decent the last couple of games, in my opinion. I actually have.
It's more about playing who's going to be here for next year.
Yes.
I'm not saying he's first team for next year. I'm just saying he's probably going to stay. Never said Vardy go Sheffield United. Ricky P plays when he wants. I mean, that's just me assuming that when the times get tough, he gets going. So it's not the first time.
We don't know. We don't know if it's
obviously it's not
true,
fact. I'm just making an opinion on it.
But we were told that Ricardo Pereira was out for the rest of the season.
It just seems a bit of a coincidence and convenient that it suits him when best.
David here says, if Vardy doesn't score, will he not play against Bournemouth? From what I've seen and what I've read, it's not happening either way. So if he doesn't get the 200 goal versus Ipswich, it's not happening at all. Which again, I'm still.
There's some kind of reason, I imagine they want to send him off on 500 games because it's not guaranteed he gets a goal, but it's guaranteed he'll make a 500th appearance.
So he's probably going to end on 500 instead of 501.
I assume there's something going on that they're going to do for him to send him off. I don't know. I mean,
would you play him again? Would you have played him again in Bournemouth if he didn't score against Ipswich? Because then he's still not guaranteed against Bournemouth.
I would just play him as long as you play him for. If he's, I don't know.
He's not guaranteed to score Bournemouth. And he's not guaranteed to score
anything.
He could not score in the next 5 games if he had 5 games.
He could score a hat-trick against Ipswich and then it's 202. So then what?
Then it's just a bit ruined, isn't it?
That's what I mean. I don't know. It's a strange one, but
Yeah. No,
it's
fair
not
enough.
the first time. Strange, is it?
Andrea said he wants Hamza back. Back to the club, which again he will be next season. And then the last comment of the day says GPM Moore says, who will be taking Vardy's place next season?
It's a great question.
Great question.
You've got Patson Daka, who's on a high wage, who I'm sure if the club can't offload, then it'll be probably him, because I doubt they're going to sign a new striker. They could. They probably should. I mean, if we don't have another striker, who is it? It's Patson Daka and Jake Evans, I guess. That's it.
Unless you buy another one.
If Jake Evans stays, because rumours of him being sold.
Mm.
For me, I would sign a new replacement striker. I think we kind of have to.
You find that new legendary striker.
The wage of Patson Daka is probably going to be weighing them down and going, well, we can't really be signing a new striker for the Championship when you've got someone who's on 80 grand a week not doing anything. So for me,
I'd look at top scorer next year, mate.
I'd look at selling him. Even if
you could be top goal scorer next year.
I mean, we know he's not going to be. So.
Hey, imagine Daka scores 20 plus goals next season.
In his 5th season at Leicester. Let's see if he gets more than 10.
Hello, Terence. How are we doing? So the last question of the day, Sam. Score prediction, and for once, you might actually be a bit positive with this one because it is Ipswich at home, not Man United away.
Yeah.
Go on, be something positive for once. 2-2.
Well, I think it's a good test to see what we can do against another Championship team. I mean, you say that, but both teams are going to be different for next year anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're both probably going to have to sell a lot of players between us. I don't know. I feel like it's only right that maybe 1-0 Vardy. Sure, we win 1-0 and it's going to be Vardy. 200 goal, 500th appearance.
Stand up for a bang.
That's how it. That's it'd be good. You win, Vardy scores. Will it happen? Who knows?
No. Terence does say if we win the last 2 games, does Rude stay? Again, I think that whatever's happening has already been decided. It's just not been spoken about.
I think Rude could have won his last 5 games since we got relegated, and we've actually done okay since we've been relegated. Picked up more points in the last 4 games than since Rude's been here. Or at least equalled it. I don't know. If it was me, I'd get rid of him. I don't think you can have a manager do as badly as he's done, and you can see he doesn't have a clue what he's doing. Really, I think the Championship is a lot different to Premier League. I said that when we first signed him. That's a gamble, and is he going to know how to manage a team at this level of Premier League when, throughout his whole career as a player, he was top of the league, Champions League. He won everything, Premier Leagues, FA Cups. He won the lot with Man U. And obviously his other clubs. And then when he turned to a manager, he only ever managed top clubs. PSV, they were virtually top of the league for the whole time.
I'll tell you now, they're top of the league as well now.
And then Man U, obviously, I know they're having a bad spell, but he was only there for 4 games, so how can you judge it on that? I mean, we did because we signed him, but I don't know. I don't think he's good enough for the Championship. I mean, he's not proven, so.
I think you'd still say he probably could bring us back up.
I mean, yeah, but most managers should be able to bring us back up. That's the issue, though. So, for me, I personally wouldn't. I think what's by the sounds of it is we want to refresh, we want to rebuild the club without having all these toxic players and managers and people in position. As much as I think you said, as much as Vardy's been great to the club, I think his influence over what happens with top and higher up is probably a bit too much. And I think they kind of let it get influenced a bit too, it happens too many times. I think it happened with Cooper. As much as I know you weren't a fan of him, I think the reason he got sacked was because the players said that they weren't happy. Which for me, I don't think it's right to sack a manager because the players aren't happy because they weren't playing Enzo Bull, which was clear that's why they were unhappy. Hence, after they got sacked, they were off in Copenhagen saying, "We miss you, Enzo."
Yeah.
A bit disrespectful, a bit wrong. Those type of players can leave the club. If you ask me, I think you just need to know. They need to know their position, really. At least that's what I think.
Yeah, I agree. That was our team tactics talk for the Ipswich game. I am going to go for 3-1 win. Vardy gets 1. Elkanus gets 1, and I don't know, Bobby Reed or Ayew gets 1 just because they like scoring for absolute shit reasons. But There you go, guys. Appreciate you coming on, and we'll catch you all on the aftermath show before for a preview for the Ipswich game, because the game is at 3:00, and then catch Phil's show on Monday. Catch you all, guys. See you in a bit.